The Mariners continue to win, but injuries keep piling up. Let's talk about it. Colby, hit it.
You are Locked On Mariners, your daily Seattle Mariners podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Ahoy, sailors. It is Thursday, May 1st, 2025. This is Ty Gonzalez and Colby Patnode for the Locked On Mariners podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the promo code Locked On MLB. That's LOCKEDON MLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. And as always, if you want to hear from me and Colby even more and help support the show, you can check out our Patreon. All you have to do to check that out is click the link in the description of this episode. And this episode is, unfortunately, all about injuries because the Mariners have had a lot of them. Today, we'll go over the latest updates and discuss if the Mariners can add any help soon. But Luke Raley and Dylan Moore, the latest Mariners to land on the injured list. Does seem like Demo with his right hip inflammation is only going to miss a few days. He is expected to be back by the time his time on the IL wraps up, which is in about a week now, I think. Luke Raley, though, has a bit of a longer ways to go before he can get back on the field. It's going to be a 6-week minimum for his return with what Justin Hollander called a grade 1 to grade 1 plus oblique strain. And they even had a recording of when he suffered the injury that they showed during the broadcast on Tuesday during batting practice, and it did not look good. So yeah, not surprised that he's going to be out for a while with the way that injury looked for Raley. And yet, despite all these injuries that the Mariners have suffered, they have the second highest winning percentage in the American League. They are leading the American League West. They are 18-12, and they have one of the best offenses in the game. Baseball, right? But man, this team is really beat up right now, Colby.
Yeah, that's an understatement. They're so beat up to the point where we're sitting here like, A, how are they doing this? But also B, like, how much longer can they continue doing this? Because the Mariners were already dipping into their depth on opening day. Like the opening day roster was already them dipping into their depth. And then since then they've lost, their opening day starter, their opening day DH, opening day second baseman. Their Gold Glove utility man. They lost one of their setup guys. They haven't gotten Brash back. Kirby is still on the IL, so they're missing arguably their two best pitchers right now. Bryce Miller, who hasn't been on the IL yet, but he's been struggling to stay healthy and kind of work through some minor bumps and bruises. So they just continue to kind of like, man, nobody is 100% healthy, it feels like. And a lot of the guys who are on the IL right now are starters. I mean, we're not talking about the Mariners losing they didn't lose Miles Mastrobuoni, which no disrespect to Miles, but whatever. That's a little bit easier of a pill to swallow than Victor Robles and Logan Gilbert and Luke Raley and all those guys. So yeah, it really is impressive what they've done. But they are stretching the depth of their 40-man roster to the limit right now. And I don't know how much more stress this could take before, the dam inevitably breaks. Now, to be fair, they've gotten some really good contributions from guys like Leo Rivas and, some of the other guys that have had to step up, Casey Legumina out of the bullpen. Like they've gotten guys to step up and perform fairly well and give you something. Ben Williamson, obviously, as well. But it's just like, man, if one more thing goes wrong, like this could start to get pretty ugly pretty quick. I mean, you're already likely running a Ryland Thomas and Samad Taylor platoon out in right field. Like, yeah, it doesn't get any worse than that, you would think, but somehow this team just keeps on winning ball games. So there is a certain like fun element to it, a fun factor where you're just kind of like, hey, like, look, these AAA guys are coming up and they're stepping up and they're playing good ball and the Mariners keep on finding ways to win. But at some point it's like, yeah, that's great and it's fun, and nobody's complaining right now, but like, that other shoe feels like it's probably going to drop, and the schedule is about to get a lot less friendly. Not only in the quality of the opponents the Mariners are playing, but also the off days are going to start to go away here pretty quick. So, the Mariners have been kind of able to manage this because they've been able to move guys around in their rotation. They've been able to use their bullpen aggressively because they have off days coming that they can schedule around, and they still have that for the next couple of weeks. But after that, they start going on long road trips and long stretches without a day off. And so all this stuff, all the wear and tear is actually going to start. And at that point, again, how much more stress can this 40-man take before it just breaks? And so stockpiling wins right now is absolutely critical. And so good on the Mariners for doing it. And you just hope that they're starting to get a little bit healthier. But it feels like every time they do, somebody else goes down. So we'll just have to wait and see. But really impressive what they've done. The question is, how long can they continue to win games with the roster that they're running out there? Because, you saw the 6 through 9 that they're running out there pretty much every day now. But
they're getting a lot of contributions out of that group right now, which is a huge, huge win, even if that's all the contributions that you get, right? Even if that's the extent of it. Like Leo Rivas has been massive so far. He was huge in yesterday's game. He kicked off the 6-run 7th inning. Ben Williamson, aside from these past 2 games, has been huge. And again, considering what the circumstances are, that's a massive, massive win for you right now. But yeah, even yesterday, in that 6-run 7th inning, we had a couple of injury scares. JP had that really awkward slide into home on Julio's double. And then Randy was shaking his hand quite a bit after hitting that opposite field single. I'm just going to assume that he just stung his hand, kind of absorbed the shock a little bit more than he would like. But that was, just anytime you see the, Mariners player messing around with a hand or his leg or what have you, got to feel pretty nervous right now, considering all the injuries that they've accrued up to this point. So Samad Taylor was the guy that got called up for Demo on Tuesday. Some pretty ugly at bats in yesterday's game, but did help kick off that 7th inning with the running bunt. So he was able to find a way to contribute again. Just like the rest of this bottom of the order right now, these guys are at least finding ways to contribute. And he's hit really well down in the minors, had 5 home runs down in Tacoma. So it seems like he's kind of found his bat a little bit down there after a down year just overall for him. And then Ryland Thomas gets called up yesterday in place of Rayleigh. Thomas was acquired in the Ryan Stanek trade last year. And he is a guy that he gives you no pop whatsoever, but he's a really good defender. And this guy does not strike out at all. At all. 3.8% K rate down in Tacoma this year in 26 games, 5.8% walk rate. And historically, even though the WRC plus is below league average, for the most part, he has been a minor league performer in that he has put up some pretty high batting averages. It's just he doesn't hit for any power whatsoever.
No, it's a very defensive approach on offense, and you give the guy credit. He knows who he is and who he's not, so he's not going to go out there and swing as hard as he can and try to do damage. But just a very limited player. His profile reminds me a lot of Nori Aoki. But probably not as good as Nori Aoki. If this guy was as good as Aoki, probably be in the big leagues already. So It's just one of those things where, like, look, can he come up? Can he give you a good at bat? Kind of depends on your definition of good at bat, because he's not going to walk, right? He's a pretty aggressive hitter. He doesn't like to get to 2 strikes. And will he put the ball in play? Sure. But, a weakly hit ground ball to second base or shortstop is still an out. So it's just one of those things. Like, I don't know how much this guy can help you. I kind of assume that he is only up for, a couple days, maybe maybe a week as they kind of wait for Dominic Canzone to come back from his own injury. He's played the last couple days, hit a couple homers, but Canzone's probably the better fit to replace Rayleigh's role on this roster than somebody like Ryland Thomas. But we'll see. You know, I
because of the power, right? Just to be clear on that.
Yeah, because you need some thump here, right? And you know, you're not going to get any of that from Thomas whatsoever. Probably not going to get a ton of that from Samad. I know that he hit, you know, fairly well power wise in Tacoma, but it's just not really his game. So you kind of need some of that power element, particularly from the left side, and that's Dominic Canzone. And so, yeah, I think that they're going to give him. This is probably Canzone's last shot too. He's probably going to get, you know, about a month before Rayleigh starts his rehab assignment, and if he doesn't produce, then it might be the end of his. It's certainly probably the end of his Mariner career. But you have to start wondering at that point, like, how many more chances does he get at the big league level? So we'll see what they decide to do there. I would be interested to see Ryland Thomas in a game, just because I love major league debuts and all that. So that'd be a lot of fun. But yeah, I think it's a pretty short-term thing. But, you know, maybe he's Leo Rivas, probably not nearly as pesky in terms of the walks and the working the deep counts things, but can he kind of get on base? He's a pretty good runner, not a great base stealer, but a pretty good runner. He can do some things to help you out. And so, you know, it's great that the Mariners have this depth, and it'd be funny to get any kind of contribution from the Ryan Stanek trade, which was literally just a salary dump last year. But yeah, I think Thomas's time here with the Mariners is pretty short-lived. So let's get him his at-bats and see if he can get that first hit and go from there.
Yeah, it seems like he has a pretty short window to make an impression and stave off Dom Canzone. But Canzone, if you're just kind of looking for not necessarily a one-for-one replacement with Rayleigh, but looking for more of a similar profile to Rayleigh, then and Canzone's probably the guy. But yeah, I mean, if Thomas can do what, you know, guys like Leo Rivas and Miles Mastroboni have done, maybe he just sticks around. We'll see.
Sure. I mean, to be fair, like Canzone's ceiling comp now is probably Luke Rayleigh. That's probably a pretty fair comp. I don't know who's pitching on Friday, but I assume it's a righty, and I assume that Ryland Thomas will get the start in right field, probably hitting ninth.
It is Jack Leiter.
Yeah. So I would assume Ryland Thomas.
Yeah. And then Patrick Corbin, the lefty, on Saturday. So we won't see Thomas on Saturday, but probably Sunday against Jacob deGrom.
Welcome to the Bigs, kids. Here's Jacob deGrom.
The second game in the Bigs. Here's Jacob deGrom.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Fun.
Yep. All right. So we'll talk about what the Mariners could potentially do outside of the organization. To just add some help, if that's even possible, in just a moment. But first, a reminder, this episode of the Locked On Mariners podcast is brought to you by Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K. Did you know your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe, or sign into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to play. Dive into hundreds of premium titles, from EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and Avowed, as easily as you stream your favorite shows. It's gaming made simple, and it's all on your Fire TV. Play high quality Xbox games at a fraction of the cost of a console. And if you already have a console, a Fire TV Stick 4K device is more affordable and easier to travel with, allowing you to take your games or your kids' games wherever you plug in. Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K 2nd Gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max 1st and 2nd Gen, and Fire TV Cube 3rd Gen. Again, that's Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On. And you're listening to the Locked On Mariners podcast. Before we talk about what the Mariners might be able to do or might not be able to do to add some help to their beat up roster, it is my birthday today, and Colby has sent me a gift, and we are going to open it here on the show. So we'll see what he got me, but he has sent me something. So let's open it. I've already ripped it open, so I didn't have to deal with that on the show.
Sure.
But
it's also worth noting there is a second gift that I ordered a month ago that just shipped like 3 days ago. So
yeah,
that he'll have a second gift coming later. I just don't know when it'll get there. But
you guys want to hear this ASMR? Ooh,
yeah, you're cutting that.
Yeah. I'm not cutting that. That's staying in the show. All right, so we got a piece of clothing here. I think I know what this is. Oh yes. Oh, I have to put this on now for the show.
Yep, and jump cut.
Yo, let's go. Yeah. All right, thanks, dude. Appreciate it.
There should be something else in there.
There's something else in here. All right,
there should be.
Ooh, feels like a card.
It is.
Feels like a card. Oh, hell yeah. This is sick. This is so sick. Rashard Lewis autograph card. That's tight. That's tight. So for those of you that don't know, I love the Mariners. My greatest sports love, though, is the Ray Allen Rashard Lewis Sonics. So this is awesome. This is super dope. Yes. Thank you so much.
I almost got you the Allen Rashad Lewis tandem autograph card, but it was like $280 or something. I was like, I already got you the hoodie and something else.
Ooh.
Yeah, which I don't know if we'll open up on this stream or on this show, but it's not bad. It just requires explanation is all.
Sure.
It's more of a Patreon type of gift, but yeah. So there you go. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, chat. Look at this. It's sick. Oh yeah. All right. So Colby, can the Mariners do anything about what's going on with their roster right now from the outside? I mean, at the very least, they need to add some like AAA depth.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Like,
I'm sure
they have to do that.
They'll sign some, some independent league guys and whatnot, and go that route. So yeah, they'll add some depth, sure. In terms of like potential 40-man ads, it's like we talked about like what, a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Like there's just not a lot of players out there right now and teams that are willing to sell right now. So that makes it really difficult. I think you're mostly scouring the waiver wire. And there is one guy in particular that's out there right now that's pretty interesting. Stone Garrett of the Nationals actually has some major league success, in his career, but he's really struggled in AAA this year. He has options left as well, 2, I believe. So, but he's, 28, 29 years old. He's an older guy, older prospect, I should say, but he does have some major league success, absolutely crushes left-handed pitching, which you kind of need right now. So, I would watch for Stone Garrett. I think that makes a lot of sense. The Mariners had an opportunity to get him earlier this year, though, and they didn't. So, I mean, we'll see if that means anything or not, but beggars can't be choosers at a certain point. But you kind of look around here and you go, they could use a first baseman. They could use maybe a third baseman. They could definitely use an outfielder. And who's out there that's available right now? Well, maybe you could get Ryan Mountcastle right now from the Orioles to play some first base, or DH even, but maybe him. But again, there's just not a lot of guys out there right now or a lot of teams out there that are willing to sell right now. Like I'll keep bringing him up. Luis Robert is probably going to get traded, but he's been very, very bad so far this year. So, and then you have to pay him. It's probably at this stage, it's probably more the money that's going to be the issue, more so than the prospect capital it would cost to acquire a guy like him. But I'll keep bringing him up. And we know that the Mariners and the White Sox had extensive talks about him last summer. And we know that the two sides are very familiar with each other at this stage, and Jerry likes to circle back and all of that. So we certainly can't rule out the Luis Robert idea. But yeah, I think they're just kind of waiting around on the waiver wire. Like that, do they want to take a shot on Andrew Vaughn? Barf. Like theoretical good hitter, Andrew Vaughn? Probably not. So yeah, I think you're just mostly looking around the waiver wire right now. You might see, maybe you see kind of like a 4A player get traded. It's like another team's Dominic Canzone gets traded to the Mariners or something like that. It's possible that there's a prospect swap where you trade like, I don't know, Michael Arroyo for a lesser prospect who's closer to the big leagues, blah, blah, blah. But I doubt the Mariners want to go down that route. So, yeah, there's not a lot they could do. Obviously, they'll sign some guys we've never heard of to minor league deals and all that. But short of, claiming Stone Garrett, which they should do either way, there's just not a lot of teams right now that are definitely going to sell. And it's the White Sox. Not a lot there for you to take if you're not interested in Robert. It's the Rockies, who probably aren't going to trade anybody, even though they're right now the worst team ever. So yeah, there's not a lot of options, unfortunately. So you're just kind of, you're kind of just trolling the waiver wire right now, kind of waiting for things to pop, and maybe there's a small trade to be made. But I know we keep on saying, hey, you kind of have to find your Alex Colome, Denard Span trade. It's like, well, there's a reason those only happen once a decade.
Well, and that happened in late May as well.
Yeah. I mean, like last year, Arise was traded on May 4th, I believe. Mm-hmm. So it's not impossible that they could get a more impactful move made, but it's just so unlikely.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of the Marlins and speaking of a Span Colome-esque trade, to go back to something that we talked about a lot during the offseason, like, could you get Jesus Sanchez and Calvin Fauché, who's been walking a lot of dudes?
Yeah.
I mean, Sanchez hit that home run off of Casey Lawrence, but he's off to a pretty rough start to the year.
I mean, he missed most of the first month.
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, that probably would help. But yeah, I mean, you just kind of look at the teams that might actually be willing to sell this early. It's the White Sox, should be the Rockies, but who knows with that dumpster fire. Maybe the Marlins. But again, like even like the Pirates, like what are you going to get from the Pirates? They're not trading Brian Reynolds in May. Do you even want Brian Reynolds with his contract and his decline?
I don't think that's something that they would be willing to go.
So yeah, there's just not a lot of options right now. Unfortunately, it means you have to wait. Again, maybe look for a team with a bit of a crowded 40-man. Maybe a team like the Dodgers or the Rays. Possibly they might want to call up one of their younger guys and they have to DFA somebody. But you're just kind of mostly looking at waiver wire stuff right now, and there's just not a ton out there, unfortunately. So gonna have to ride this out and hope that Jerry and Justin can kind of pull a rabbit out of the hat, because right now there's just not a lot of options for you.
It's just so hard right now because the market is just, it's not open at all. I mean, like we've seen some minor trades here and there. And like you said, maybe there's some guy at the back end of someone's 40-man that they might be able to get. But in terms of like adding someone that could potentially impact you, unless it's, someone that just comes out of nowhere, right? I just don't think that's possible right now. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're looking at like the Sam Haggerty like types. I mean, maybe Sam Haggerty himself, but like in general, you're looking for that type of player, somebody who's been in the majors a little bit, not much success. You kind of have one tool that you really like, and you're going to try and capitalize on that and utilize it. But that's probably what you're looking at here. He's not he doesn't help you offensively, but because you still also need arms, Dane Dunning was DFA'd again.
Yeah.
So, that might be a route to go.
Yeah. And you do need arms right now.
Particularly multi-inning bullpen arms would be great, with Bryce kind of being not shelved, but like, it's not going well. So yeah, you're just looking at the waiver. You're just looking at the DFAs and the releases right now. And even if you sign a free agent that's still floating around out there, it's going to take him at least a month to get ready to go.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are throwing out, JD Martinez and David Robertson.
JD Martinez is not going to sign with the Mariners.
No,
he would rather retire.
Yeah, but also it's like, what's going on there? Does he even want to play in general? And again, even if he did sign, it's going to take him a couple weeks, maybe a month to ramp up. And then Robertson, it's same thing. Like, he's got to get ramped up. Does he even want to play right now? I mean, he's not officially retired. He's out there, but he hasn't signed with anyone. He's coming off of a good year. You would think that he would be signed with someone at this point.
It sounds like basically he's like, if you want to make me an offer, the exact offer I want, then I'll sign with you. Otherwise, I'm content to just sit here and call it a career. So we'll see. But there's just, it's waiver wire stuff right now. And again, if Jerry and Justin can pull something off that we're not expecting, that would be awesome. But wouldn't hold out too much hope there. It's just the market just isn't active right now.
Yeah. All right, so we got some news on George Kirby. We'll also talk a little bit about Matt Brash. Is he ready to go in just a moment? But first, a reminder, this episode of the Locked On Mariners podcast is once again brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use promo code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, promo code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. And you're listening to the Locked On Mariners podcast. So we got an update on George Kirby yesterday from Justin Hollander. Kirby threw live BP on Monday, and he himself said it was pretty nasty. And Justin Hollander agreed with that assessment.
Sure.
And said that
pitches.
Yeah, and apparently Kirby might go out on his rehab assignment this weekend, make his first rehab start. Hollander said that they want him to get to about 75 to 80 pitches in a start before they consider bringing him back up and activating him from the injured list. So seems like we're getting closer, but not close yet to Kirby returning. So probably another 2 to 3 weeks at minimum. Kirby to return.
Apparently Kirby was pitching to a couple of Everett Aqua Sox on Monday. And I mean, cool on the Aqua Sox players who got to hit at T-Mobile Park. Not so cool that they had to face George Kirby. So apparently everything went well. And the important part is he felt great the next day. I'd assume this weekend, maybe early next week. And I would assume that the timeline or the plan would be roughly something like 35 pitches in his first start, 50 his next start, probably 60, 65, assuming there are no setbacks, of course, at that point. And then, so I would imagine probably 4 rehab starts, maybe 3. And if that happens once every 5 or 6 days, then you're still looking at maybe late May. So I think best case scenario you're talking about, I don't know. I mean, I don't know about an exact date, but like May 24th ish in that range. That feels about right. So, and again, that's with no setbacks. So it is good that he threw. It's good that he felt good while he was throwing. It's really good that he felt good the day after. And it's apparently feels good enough to not, I mean, they haven't officially scheduled the rehab assignment as we're recording this right now. But I would assume that'd be Sunday, maybe Monday. If the minors is even playing on Monday, sometimes they don't. I'm not sure where that would take place. Everett would be my guess. Wherever's closest to Seattle. So if Everett's playing it at home, it'll probably be Everett. If Tacoma's playing at home, it might be Tacoma. But so it's good news, definitely. And the Mariners really need him. They really need him. Especially with Logan Gilbert out now for at least a month. And again, I still suspect longer, but they really need him. And so the sooner he can get up, the better, but this isn't something you rush. So we'll see him when we see him. But I still think late May is the absolute earliest.
And Matt Brash is apparently getting pretty close to rejoining the ball club, according to Hollander. But Brash has made 6 rehab appearances now, and they haven't gone particularly well. Now, I don't want to put too much stock into minor league stats, of course, but he's walked a couple of guys. He's given up 5 earned runs on 9 hits over 5 1/3 innings pitched.
I mean, to be fair, those 5 runs, 3 of them came on a home run.
Yeah. I've watched 2 of his outings, 2 of the 6 outings that he's had. slider didn't look as sharp. He hung a couple in the middle of the plate. One of them got hit for a base hit. Fastball velo has been a little bit inconsistent. So part of me does wonder if he's actually ready, if maybe he needs a little bit more time to stay down there and work through some stuff outside of just, getting past the injury and getting used to throwing again. What do you think?
It's one of those things where you could really use Matt Brash, but you definitely don't want to rush him, and his impact to the bullpen is going to be limited anyways, because the Mariners haven't asked him to go back-to-back days yet, which is usually kind of the last step. But I don't think they're going to try and do that at all with Brash before they think he's ready to go. So, yeah, I mean, the fastball velo is down a little bit. That's not super surprising. The slider's not quite as sharp as it usually is. That's, again, also not very surprising. So, like, there's nothing that I've seen or heard about from Brash in his rehab assignment that makes me think that he's still hurt or anything. It just is typical post Tommy John stuff where your velo, it usually comes back before your feel. But it still might take a little bit to feel comfortable letting loose and all of that. And then, the feel for the seams and for, spinning the baseball, that also takes a little bit of time. So usually it's not until the second season back from Tommy John that these guys typically, feel 100% again, and they're confident in their arm and their stuff. So yeah, there's nothing really here that's that concerning to me long-term. But, we saw the Mariners kind of do this with Troy Taylor on a much smaller scale where, he wasn't amazing in his rehab. There were some warning signs there, and they called him up anyways, and he got shelled in his first outing. And so, you're kind of in a tough spot here. You're not going to rush Brash, but his rehab assignment time is quickly coming to an end here in the next week or two. And it's not a huge deal because at that point the Mariners could just activate him and demote him to AAA. To keep
he
him
has
down
two
there.
options left, so it's not a huge deal.
So yeah, I think worst case scenario they just activate him and then demote him, and they keep working on stuff in AAA until he feels like he's as close to 100% as you can. But nothing I've seen so far is that concerning. It's just maybe you be a little bit extra cautious here and give him another week or two. Instead of trying to get him into your bullpen right now. But he would certainly help. But, I mean, good Matt Brash would really help. Matt Brash piping sliders and 95-mile-an-hour fastballs, probably not going to help all that much. So we'll see what they want to do. But, yeah, I'm not discouraged. It's just, hey, maybe be a little bit extra cautious here, especially since you've managed to stack some wins here. You still – for the next week or two, still are in this nice space where you're getting a day off a week and you can kind of manage your bullpen around that.
All right. That is going to do it for our show. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Locked On Mariners podcast. For Colby Patnode, I'm Titan Gonzalez. Be sure to give us a follow on Twitter at @LO_Mariners. You can follow me at Titan Gonzalez and Colby at CPAT11. That's CPAT11. We're also on Blue Sky. You can follow me at TDG, Colby at MLB Colby, the show at Locked On Mariners. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at Locked On Mariners. Have yourself a beautiful baseball day, and we'll see you next time. Peace.